roll call, please.
President Byrne,
Here.
Trustee Hedda,
Here.
Trustee Cook,
Here.
Trustee Markwart,
Here.
Trustee Schultz,
Here.
Trustee Schwartz, Trustee Williams.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum present. Would everybody please stand for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, any citizens wishing to address the board tonight? Okay.
You always check with Cliff.
Yeah, I saw him. Village President, proclamation congratulating the first Lego League, or FLL, robotics team on their Illinois State Championship. Is it all girls?
Yep.
All right, girls, ladies, you want to step up to the microphone? Or, as we call it, the presentation altar. Now, what school do you guys go to?
Woodlawn Middle School.
Good, that's great. All right. Okay. Oh, I need the card. Do you have, yeah, why don't you take some pictures of your, yeah, well,
See my butt.
why would I?
There you go.
No, what is it? No, what I'd like to do, that. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
All right. Okay, you want, did you get it up the picture? No, take your time.
Yeah, take your time, you don't have to.
Well, we'll get, we'll send you a copy of this tape if you want that, the copy of the, okay, Mike Stordo, do you read me?
He heard you. He's got it.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Congratulations, this is a proclamation congratulating the first Lego League robotic team on their Illinois State Championship. The first Lego League, do you have anything to show us that looks like a Lego creation, or?
We didn't bring it.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you have any pictures? No? No pictures, did you? All right, well, okay, so far, so good. First Lego League is a global robotics program whose mission is to encourage enthusiasm for discovery, science, and technology in kids ages 9 to 14. Is everybody 9 at least?
Yeah.
Even you on the end here? What? How old are you? Oh, okay.
She's the oldest one.
All right, fine.
No.
All right. In the United States and Canada, every year FLL teams compete to come up with solutions to real-world issues. In December 2011, 283 first Lego League teams competed in 18 regional competitions throughout Illinois. A team of 9 11-year-old girls from Long Grove. Is that true? You're all 11?
12.
Oh.
11 and 12.
Okay. So, a team of 9, 11, and 12-year-old girls from Long Grove, Buffalo Grove, Kildare, and Vernon Hills, who called themselves the Movers, huh?
Yeah.
Were one of 64 teams that earned the right to advance to the state tournament. The girls built. No, it's too big. Okay. Okay, I'll get there eventually, girls. The girls built and programmed their robot to execute several missions, as well as presented their research on Listeria and its detection in milk. Teamwork was a key element of the competition. The first Lego League state tournament was held in Arlington Heights, January 20th and 21st, 2012, and the Movers won the Illinois State Championship. Their win at the state tournament earned the Movers an invitation to the national tournament being held later this year in Orlando, Florida. The Movers team members are Allison Chin, is she here? Okay. Katie Siassian, what is it? Chason. Claire Haas,
She's not here.
Isabel Lee, okay. Rachel McCoy, and Anisha Rao,
She's not here.
okay. Alexandria Reuter,
Right.
okay. Veronia Sabhe, Sobhe, okay. Abby Starr.
All right.
Coaches, are the coaches here?
Oh.
Okay, Kevin, we want to recognize Coach Kevin O'Brien, Rhett Starr, and Lori Haas. Okay. Now therefore, I, Roger L. Byrne, President of Board of Trustees of the Village of Vernon Hills, hereby proclaim that the Movers be congratulated for their state championship and wish them success at the national tournament in Orlando. Well, congratulations, girls.
Thank you.
All right. We have a,
Got it?
we have a proclamation here. Is Allison here? Yeah. Okay, Allison, here's your proclamation, officially signed by me, so try not to show unbridled enthusiasm. Okay, and then we have Katie. Congratulations. We have Claire.
She's not here.
Somebody want to take this for her? Okay. Rachel? Okay, Rachel, congratulations. Anisha?
She's not
She's not here, so I have to grab it.
You gonna give that to her? Okay. Alexandra? Congratulations. Veronia? Congratulations. We have Abby here.
Abby's right here in that.
Okay. And then we have 3 for the coaches.
Oh, Isabel.
I already gave one to Isabel. No? Okay.
Allison.
Who did I miss out of you? Who doesn't have one? You're Isabel?
Yeah.
All right, well, here. Isabel.
Take the.
Well, then I only have 2 left for the coaches, and there's 3, right?
They didn't show up so they can fight over.
All right, here.
There you go.
want to give this to the,
Oh, here.
coaches, girls?
There you go. Here's Isabella's, there's Isabella's.
All right, girls.
Thank
Is
you.
there a spokeswoman amongst you, or you that has the microphone in her hand? Do you want to say something?
Uh-oh, Abby.
Why don't you tell us what
Abby
you?
will- Abby
Why don't you tell us what you did make?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, what we made was a robot, and you program it on a computer with a software program thingy, and then it's sort of like a car where it goes forward, it can turn, and it does missions that you want it to. So, like in ours, we had to get a rat, and we had to get germs and corn and other foods, and so we programmed the robot to achieve all those goals. And then we have to build other, like, attachments to help us reach those goals. Yeah.
Also, in Lego Robotics, there's 4 parts to it. There's the programming, which is the robot that Rachel mentioned. There's something called core values, which is we kind of like work together. Like we talk about how we work together and those type of stuff. And there's technical, which is when we talk about our robot. And there's project, which is you find a food. This year it was you find a food and you find a problem in that food. And we picked Listeria, that is in milk. So we wrote a whole rap about it. So we got judged on all 4 of those.
You got a rap song?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's hear that. Yeah. Now we're getting to the good stuff here.
Okay. No
We have.
posters.
Okay. We usually have posters and stuff, but since we don't have them,
Yeah.
Yeah, just
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I can do niches.
Okay.
I have to fill in for somebody. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Is there a lead singer
What we're missing. Okay.
or? Okay.
We
Hit it.
chose to do milk because it kind of goes with our name. Everyone knows milk. It has a well-known fame. The third most drank liquid after water and tea. I drink it every day. It's so good for me. 72 gallons each American can drink. We need to keep it safe is what we feel and think. From cow to consumer, what could go wrong? To help you understand is why we wrote this song. We went to Oberweis Dairy, met Mike McCarthy. He taught us life at Oberweis. It was a party. We talked with the manager, Mark Newport. Mark has 3 big concerns for our report. Allergies and bioterrorism too. But you said these we could not do. But something called listeria keeps them up at night. They pasteurize their milk to prevent this fright. Taking many precautions was their reply. All the things they do gave our brains a fry.
Coming back from Oberweis, we needed to know what keeps them up at night. To the internet we go. Listeria, a bacteria, a big bad threat. Sadly, it's common in the environment. It's found in soil, groundwater, animals too. In unpasteurized milk from the cows that go moo. Diarrhea and fever, early symptoms and signs, leads to meningitis, sepsis, people can die. Fetuses, the elderly, are in lots of danger. Those with low immunity systems are vulnerable to the stranger.
Producers are cleaning, checking, making sure. Sometimes it gets to us, it still isn't pure.
Outbreak, outbreak.
Some years ago, from pasteurized milk. How can this be so?
Outbreak, outbreak.
More people die from unpasteurized milk. It makes you want to cry.
Then the person that's missing goes.
So we talked with Ms. Carpe in Research Baxter Lab about our idea of a germ-finding tab. We learned from her this about Listeria. It's a gram-positive type of bacteria. By using gram staining technique identifies germs. Gram-positive bacteria to dark blue it turns. Could we use a technique similar to this to test for Listeria that milk producers miss?
So our solution is something consumers can use to check for milk safety so no people be lose. Something very simple and cost effective to test if the milk we drink is safe or been infected. Take a look at the cap of the hypothetical milk you buy. Under the foil cap is a tablet of dye.
A fresh WC used by you and me. When it contacts the potion, will it cause a commotion? We're looking for Listeria, don't want to cause hysteria. If it is detected there, a blue color it turns. Oops, there it is. Oops, there it is.
We went back to Mike McCarthy over VP. We showed him our prototype, and this he did agree. Something consumers use made a lot of sense, and it didn't look as if it'd be a big expense. Back to Miss Carpe, we showed her our tab. Remember our researcher from Baxter Labs? Your idea is wonderful, she surely did exclaim. We should look into this, it could be a great thing. We were happy with our project, we smiled and nodded yes. We still have much to do to make it our best.
Doing this project was a lot of fun, but we sure are glad that it is done.
All right. Girls, that was great. Thank you very much. You are free to go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
Just leave it there, honey, that's fine. Thanks.
Well, you can't leave the meeting yet, though. No, I'm only kidding. Okay, thank you, girls.
Good night.
Good night. Okay.
go to Baxter Labs.
You have to go to
and they
Baxter
agree
to, you mean, to get that, right?
Okay.
Where do you get the test kit?
Okay, next is Project Turf.
Would you like us to project this onto the screen or just speak together?
Yeah, you can't, you guys at hook.
Well, we thought about
Yeah,
putting
you
a
gotta
ramp,
wrap it.
and I can't sing. We could do a chair, but neither one of us could lift each other confidently onto our shoulders. So we thought we'd just do a presentation.
Okay, okay.
You want the easy one or the hard one? So, is the computer up?
Well, you'll have assistance, so
Yeah.
go right ahead.
Well,
No, you're just acting like I do.
You have assistance.
All right.
There you go.
Well, thank you very much for having us here tonight, and really appreciate it. We're hoping we can give you a nice update as to where our progress is on Project Turf. As you know, about a year and a half ago, we were in front of this prestigious body, and you helped us kick it off, and it is prestigious in my mind, Jim. You know, Vernon Hills is the apple of my eye. But without your help, both quietly and publicly behind the scenes, I don't think we'd be standing here today with the progress we've made, because it has been very important to help get the message out as well as get the support amongst the community that was really critical to our success. So with that, we can I could just do this just as easy. Okay. So we're going to talk about Project Turf, our kids, our community, our field. And Brian here is going to help answer any questions that I may not be able to as far as where we are with the school board and our progress, but hopefully this will be effective. So as you know, we've been actively working within the community to raise money to fund a synthetic surface for the field at Rust-Oleum Field, the playing surface. It's used about 35 times a year, so that's been a constraint on the overall use because it's natural turf. And we want to do this for all of our athletes, all of our students, as well as all of the community, because we believe the potential here is really untapped and certainly unbounded by our imagination. We put together a committee of individuals that were part of Project Turf to help us get the word out, as well as build a plan that would help us engage the community at large, that would help us to make sure that we had an effective plan for how to communicate this, develop many opportunities for the community as well as families and students at Vernon Hills be part of this, because we also knew it was going to be multi-generational in its participation, in the sense that students that were there at the beginning were going to graduate and go on, but they could always look back with pride that they had something to do with that surface and that field and Project Turf's accomplishments. We also wanted to leverage the multiple communication strategies that were available to us. Certainly the village board meetings was one of the significant ones that has helped us multiple times get out in front of the community with our message, as well as the community boards that we were able to access on Butterfield Road in Milwaukee. We wanted to make sure we had clear goals for what we were trying to achieve, and that we communicated those so that people could see what our progress was along the way. But most importantly was to maintain momentum, which a project of this nature, which takes multiple years to pull off, really required that momentum. And again, your help and your assistance and leadership was critical for that. So our strategy is working. We've gotten great participation from the community as far as our kids, our students, as well as other members of the community are involved. We've got a lot of the businesses within Vernon Hills backing this either through direct donations or direct support or indirect support, not to mention the support the village has given to us, as well as the Park District, as well as the CAB, the Cougar Athletic Boosters, as well as the Cougar Council, in helping us plan these events and plan our activities. But most importantly, our kids have been a part of it. You can see some of the pictures. I really love these pictures of the kids at the football games, because it was the generation that hasn't yet even gotten to junior high that were helping us raise money, who are going to truly enjoy the full use of this field once we get it up and running. So it has been a community effort, both the current students and past students, as well as teachers and coaches and volunteers throughout the community, but also the future generation that will certainly enjoy it. And most importantly, the businesses. The Vernon Hills businesses have been phenomenal in their support. You can see the ones up there that many of us frequent, and without their support, we wouldn't be where we're at today financially. Okay? The support's been outstanding. As I mentioned, we've got 3 major community partners involved. We've had over 15 local businesses support our project, and we've had hundreds of families and friends involved, either directly through their fundraising and volunteerism, or their direct giving to the project, or just their support in all of our efforts. From a financial standpoint, we've got $590,000 collected in cash. We've got line of sight to an additional amount above that we expect to be able to finalize later this month. And where we have a proposal that we will be bringing forth to the school board for how we plan to close the gap to the total $800,000. Obviously, that's where the village can be of assistance to us as well, to the extent that the village can support any more efforts around the fundraising or direct support in some of our efforts. That would be very much appreciated and welcomed. Because we are almost there. We're at the goal line, but we are in the phase where we're starting to wrap up as well. So we're going around making sure we're thanking all the families and friends that supported it. We're working to finalize pledges from our partners within Vernon Hills, either the high school, families, and friends. We have fundraising activities that are still winding down at this point, but we do plan to take this proposal to the board, because we have to get to the point where they can bid out the job and get the work done, because we do want this field in place for the fall of 2012 sports. So, okay. I know we kind of went quick through that recap, but I don't know if there's any questions or if there's anything that the suggestions the board has.
Yeah, I know in talking to Dave, was it last week? Is that been passed on to these guys yet?
I talked to him before the meeting.
And you want to share that with the rest of us?
I'd be glad to. Yeah, I think there's some opportunities where the village can support this project. I know previously that was the direction that the board gave when you made your presentation previously. One of the important parts for this project was the detention requirement. We've worked, Manhart Engineering is supporting their project. They submitted plans to me. We took a look at how we can, best add detention to the facility. Instead of having them excavate the existing pond or put detention on their property, one of the ways that Vernon Hills can assist this project is we can just lower the float for the pond because we have an irrigation system that fills it up. So by us lowering the water level by the float by 2 inches, we can provide all the detention required for this project. And all it is for our public works staff, Gene, will go out there and he'll lower the float from here to here. Take us about 15 minutes to a half hour. And all the detention required for their project will be provided. So there's a great savings. I know there's some other projects that didn't have the room that we have or the luxury of the pond that we have available, and it could be in the $400,000 range for underground detention or something like that. So, by allowing them to have detention in this facility, I think it saves them some money, and I would strongly recommend that we work with them to do that. Another option and thing that they've approached us on is there is the berm between the treatment plant and our pond, and we can work with the county. Potentially we can save them. They will bid it out and they'll tell us what the dollar amount is, but it could be $30,000, $40,000 by taking the topsoil that exists within the existing playing field and moving it and placing it on the top of that berm just north of our pinwheel fields. They would restore it, your contractor would do that, but they've done some borings. It should be really good topsoil with a little bit of clay. Part of that berm is on our property, part of it is on the county's property, so I would talk with the county and see if they're amenable to having that added. Adding 2 feet to the height of that berm is not going to impact us in any way, and I think that's another way that we certainly can support this project.
Yeah, in essence, save you what? How much a dump truck will, like, if you had to take it someplace, what was it, about $50, $60 per load?
Dump fees are in that range.
Yeah. Okay, why don't you pull up the screen with the money number on there? So, okay. So you've actually raised what amount?
We have $590,000. We have line of sight to another donation that's coming in that will boost that by roughly $100,000. And we have a proposal that Dr. Swick is prepared for the school board to get them to approve moving forward with the installation.
And the school board is still 300,000?
Yes.
Okay. What's the revenue off of the cell tower generating now?
What is that, like 124,000, I think it is? Is that right?
To date or per year?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you meant our cell towers, I'm sorry.
No, the one at the school.
The one at the school.
Because there's multiple, is there multiple users on it?
I believe there are three. Dr. Zwick is certainly more familiar with, which cell service providers are connected to that. But we have money in there, and the plan is to use that and any future revenue that's generated from that.
All right, so
to close the gap.
So what do you think? What's a cell tower user generate a month? I mean, for what do they have to pay?
It's over 100,000 a year, right, Larry?
Well, each cell tower is about $28,000. Each cell provider is about 28,000. So, and Dave was
this
telling
might
me
be
there's
just
three.
shy of 90.
Yeah. So, yeah, just shy of 90. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think the Dr. Swick's cell tower commission is more in a 30 to 40 per year.
Yeah, that number sounds a lot. Yeah, but
it's come down a lot from when they first installed it.
So you think it's more than 30 or 40,000 already?
Per year. Yeah.
Okay. So why is ours so much higher?
I think because we had them build it, so we have to pay them back. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, plus they had one extension on their cell tower that you all approved 4 or 5 years ago. So there is one provider had to get up higher. I think it was Sprint maybe. So there's a number of people. I know there's at least 2, if not 3, on that tower. Yeah.
I hope so. All right. Well, I don't know. I guess also. I know that obviously in the past we assisted the Y. We assisted, well, we lent money to other people. Who else did we actually besides the Y?
Well, you mean for nonprofits?
Yeah.
Or, well, I think there was a land arrangement, right? You made with the before I was here with the
with the
ice rink and the
well, that was but they actually paid for that. They paid.
Right, but it was,
they gave that money, I think, to it was probably Prentice Copley.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, there's the social service grants.
Oh yeah, the library. That's
provided
true.
every year.
Yeah, we did. That's right. We gave the library the land. Okay. Well, we also.
And then, well, in the high school, the funds for the road, that piece of it, and then the below market rate on the loan for Rust-Oleum Field for a portion.
Yeah. And,
Those-
well, yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So, you think the magic number is 800, or is it more closer to $1 million?
It's going to be closer to $1 million, probably, when everything's said.
Okay. Okay. Well, I personally, I don't have a problem helping if we can help them. We've had a couple of meetings, but, basically what was discussed just now by Mike and what I initially brought up was, what we did for the Y. And, now, with that said, the amusement tax, which was set up years ago, to actually help pay for the acquisition of the Park District land, which is where the pool is at, the aquatic center, the lazy river, and then the administrative building. And that came out at one time. Did we ever actually generate $150,000 a year in amusement tax?
Yeah, at its peak we were probably about 170,000.
Yeah. And so that, I know that's been paid off for an extended period of time. I mean, when was the last payment we made to the, several years ago, wasn't it, to the?
On the clubhouse?
No, on the, to the Park District.
Oh, that was 1989 to 1999, that's.
Okay, so that's been paid off for about 13, okay. All right. So anyway, I mean, but right now, I know I got an email today from Mike. It runs about $100,000 a year.
Mhm.
And Larry suggested that we don't touch that because that's what budgeted for what specific purpose?
Budget for operations, it's part of our normal budget. But what I will say, you know, just looking at the current fiscal year we're in, I think you know, my projections hold true and, you know, there's still a lot of days left in the fiscal year. But I think we're looking at a year when we'll have, you know, over $100,000 surplus. So, you know, I'd rather than dedicate a source, I think about maybe amending the budget this year.
Okay, and, you know, of course, then we have well, I'm not gonna go there with a larger matter that we had meetings with a large retail group in town, but, I don't know, I'd like to have the board weigh in on this. Is this, you know, something that's palatable, to help?
Absolutely.
Trustee Schultz?
As I indicated before, I'd be more than happy to be the banker for any shortfall over a term like we have with the Y of 10 years and with the high school. I guess that was 10 years, but they paid it off in 7 or whatever the number was.
Yeah, the Park District was 15, but, you know, and the Y was
10.
10.
Yeah. And Rust-Oleum was 10, but I think they paid it off in 6 or 7 or.
Oh, yeah, we've already been paid at
Yeah,
the state.
so
Yeah.
the bottom line is, whatever the shortfall is, I wouldn't mind us being the banker to hold a note and receive as you guys continue to fundraise over the next 5 years, if that's what it takes, to, you know, make up that difference, and at a very, very favorable interest rate, very favorable.
Not practically zero.
Well, yeah, or, you know, but do we actually make if we can, a cash contribution? Trustee Markwart.
Well, I agree with it, and that does work. I know what you're looking at is you want to have this basically cash in hand and done with it. I understand that. Personally, on my point, again, it's the board's decision, but in fact, if I had my choice of it, I'd try to help you as much as I possibly can. I feel it's a benefit for the village, it's a benefit for the high school. I think it's going to be a point where a lot, as you mentioned, 35 games played on a field now are going to be, oh God, and I'm for it, so, in any way, shape, or form, try to do what we can.
Trustee Cook.
I agree with Trustee Markwart. The banker is fine, and if Larry can find some money in terms of, you know, revisiting our budget and that, I'd like the banker end of it to include an actual cash donation in addition to the check for whatever the shortfall would be in terms of a loan.
And that would involve, obviously, not talking to you two guys if we put a loan out there. You know, we'd have to talk to the superintendent and who's the finance?
Yasmin.
Yasmin, yeah.
Yasmin still there?
We haven't talked to her in a while, so.
I haven't seen her in years.
So I would think.
Well, because the thing is it used to be a sort of a difficult question when I get asked, because we've done a lot of stuff over the years, and it used to be a slightly difficult question to ask, what's the best thing you've accomplished in all the years you've been on the board? That's now an easy question.
Oh.
It's the high school without I mean, it's obviously become a focal point for the community in that, so I'm more than happy to help any way we can.
All right, well, Bart, you want to say something?
Well, just that, obviously, I agree with everything that's been said so far, but I think when it comes to a cash donation, we need to make sure where we're standing at the end of the year, which is coming up quickly, the months are flying by. Our year starts with May 1st, so it's not that far off. So we know where we stand in the cash donations, but certainly as the banker, I'm totally in favor of that. Any shortfall, I don't think we should have a problem some way or another coming up with the money on a long-term basis. And we'll, like Jim said, very favorable
plus
interest rates.
plus you don't have all this money in hand.
Well, exactly,
Right.
exactly. I don't know how your donations are rolling in. Are they coming in cash in hand?
It's private.
The
affairs.
290?
It's not up there unless we get
The 290's in hand. Okay.
Oh, good.
Well, the
Good.
school
That's a good
board,
thing.
okay. Well, all right, fine.
Well, that's a good
So we're talking, obviously upwards of $400,000.
Approximately.
Of which
yeah.
it might not all be a loan. We might just be able to maybe loan it up front, but we might even be giving you money on an annual basis for a while.
I would like to say too, that we, as actually, it's a good way of putting it, Plan A and Plan B. So,
Well, I guess in essence, what I'm hearing, and it's fine, we try to do both.
I'm gonna lay down.
So,
I'm gonna lay down.
I know.
Where,
I'm gonna lay
Yeah, you're next.
Mayor? Oh.
Yeah, President. Well, hold on, Trustee Hebda, please.
So does that 290, does that include your park district donation or not?
No, that's on top of what's shown there.
And that is all upfront, or is that given in a sequential of 3 years?
2 installments.
2 installments, okay.
One right away
And then one down the road, so you're,
Well,
okay.
for whatever we become the banker for, and we think we're capable of giving in cash, the only thing I'd like you to do is rename the stadium Vernon Hills High School.
I have one request.
Yeah,
as-
tell Rust-Oleum, hey, it's been nice, but, this isn't in perpetuity.
I think he's got a good point.
Well, I mean,
They did make a donation towards this too.
Yes,
didn't
they did.
but not the $100,000.
I do have a request, though. You're
Is it?
talking about those
Right
future
down.
users. And to me, hopefully you're gonna have to maintain this as well. You're gonna have to keep it up to snuff. It's gonna cost money to do that, and I would hope that those future users are gonna help contribute from them coming into the high school as well.
That's one of the benefits of the synthetic surface. It costs about $60,000 plus a year to maintain the natural grass that's on the surface.
Okay.
We believe that can be cut in half with the turf. As part of the capital budget to replace anything.
Sure.
That
And how long
10
will
years'
this
time.
last, do you think, 10 years?
It's 10 years.
They say 10 years. For instance, our baseball field has a turf on it that's made by SportX. They've got applications of the same product that we have in similar climates on stadium fields and also on baseball fields that are in their 11th and 12th years, and they're still in fine shape and so forth. But also the Board of Education has committed to that whenever when we put the synthetic turf on 10, 15 years from now, if that, it's going to eventually it's not forever. 10, 15 years from now when it needs to be replaced, that it will do so at the board's expense.
And what do you think you'd have to replace all of it? Because there's going to be some that's not going to be used that extensively, right?
Well, it's going to get a lot of use. And Mr. Curry, my assistant, and I have been talking about practice schedules and game schedules, and we're going to have this thing. It's going to be used a lot. And so there are some sections that probably won't get played on as much, the corners of the field, if you will, but at that point, when we replace it, we'll replace the whole thing. And
the warranty.
And what is the school going to just start to escrow money?
As they planned.
But we have a capital plan that goes out 20 years that starts talking about what are the things that we know are going to need to be replaced. Vernon Hills High School, which has been a great addition to the community of Vernon Hills, is starting to age a little bit, and so there is a rather large spreadsheet that shows from air handlers to all the different things that keep a school running.
Right.
That Yasmin has got a plan, and when these things are
Yeah.
expected to need to be replaced, and set money aside to do that. And our turf is, will be one of those things that's put
In that
tend
plan.
to, and that's why actually we're, the board's contribution is because when Vernon Hills High School was built, the stadium was put in. This year coming up was the year that we were going to have to re-sod the field, which is a $300,000 job. So we're
So, yeah.
Leveraging that.
Okay. Anybody else got anything to add up here? Other than I'd suggest you set up a meeting with, the superintendent.
Would you like to participate?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Because we have kind of a blending of thoughts, one Barbara said that
Right.
do it towards the end of the fiscal year, another thought about lending money, and then how much, both on the lending part of it as well as the
Right.
donations, so
Right.
kind of a mix of different things. Okay.
You better, now you can go out to bid.
Our plan is, we have a Board of Education meeting on the 27th of this month. That is where it is expected that the Board of Education will accept the partnership agreement with the Vernon Hills Park District, which will solidify that deal. And then on March 1st, the bid specs will go out to the street. March 8th is the pre-bid meeting where all the contractors who are interested in bidding on the project will be required to attend. And then on March 22nd will be the bid opening where we will ultimately
You think you're gonna get any in-kind contributions for that kind of work?
Probably not. I believe it's fair to say that we're getting a great deal on the engineering work from Pete Manhard and his his
fine.
engineering firm. There's a couple of general contractors that Vernon Hills High School has worked with. Jem Morris is the company that did our baseball field. We are thrilled with them. They did a fantastic job. There are other companies out there that have also done good work for us, and we'd be very pleased to see them bid on the job because we know they do good work. And there's this is significant cost, but we also want to make absolutely certain that this is done perfectly because this thing is going to have to last us a long time, and a good contractor will help us do that.
And seriously, on the naming rights, what was the agreement on that?
If I remember it correctly, it was a 20-year deal for the initial $100,000 contribution. The $5,000 contribution that Rust-Oleum has made to the Project Turf didn't change that at all. It didn't extend it. They were just being the good folks that they are and wanting to help out. So we've got I can't remember. We got about 8 years left on that.
Okay.
But
Then you'll be free to call it what you want.
Vernon Hills High
Yes.
School
Well, I
football field.
would think you'd want to put that up there.
And every year I get a call from some high school from somewhere across the country who is entering into some kind of partnership deal with a company about naming rights for the stadium because we were apparently the first in the country as far as high schools go to name it after a corporation,
All right.
partner that way. So.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Any other comments? Okay.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
We'll
you,
circle
we
back
appreciate
with
it.
Mike
Thank you.
for the next meeting.
Yeah,
Keep
thank
raising
you.
that
All right.
money. Keep raising it.
Okay, what else we got?
Let me mention the CMAT
I keep
meeting.
getting dots.
Um,
Don't want them.
I went to, a couple weeks ago, the Tax Policy Task Force of CMAP, the Chicago Metropolitan Area Planning Agency. They approved a report, the preliminary report on a number of taxes, one of them being sales tax and the possibility of redistribution. So again, the position that I've taken for us, as well as they've heard from Schaumburg, from Northbrook, from Lombard, a lot of communities with a lot of retail nexus, is that we've built our communities on retail, and it's a very major revenue source, and that the distribution formulas shouldn't be changed. So the board itself now, the CMAP board, has the report, and they're going to discuss it tomorrow morning. So it's my intent to go there, and I know Northbrook is going to be there, and a couple other communities to discuss that. And obviously there's a few CMAP board members who are very interested in this subject, because they're communities with large retail base. So I don't know if there's any questions at this point, but I'll keep you informed.
What are we hearing from, you know, Steve Morrell from Springfield?
Well, this isn't too conclusive. He said anything's possible. It's one of those times before, you know, election. That's that dynamic. But then another dynamic is the state's in incredibly tough financial straits. He mentioned, I'm probably getting it wrong, like there's $15 billion in unpaid bills, even with the income tax increase from last year.
A lot of that's what, Medicaid?
I think so. A large piece of that is owing doctors and pharmacies and right.
Probably nursing home.
Right, correct.
What are they, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? I mean, did you say how many months behind?
No, he didn't mention that. I just talked to him a couple days ago, and their projection, I might be getting these, the numbers are so phenomenal, like 3-4 years from now, it could be $30 billion. I mean, there's just not enough of a revenue stream to pay. So the concern is this isn't sales tax, but the LGDF, the sharing of the income tax and all those other issues, that'll come to the forefront. And you saw the governor talking about school districts paying for teachers' pension contributions. That type of thing. And that's, you know, a large number also. So, you know, we have to, I guess, stay in the game, and you know, of course, IML and the Northwest Municipal Conference and various COGs are very involved in it because of the money we're talking about and the risks to municipalities.
Has there ever been a state that had to be assisted by the federal government because they were so broke?
Well, Arkansas declared bankruptcy.
Was it
Larry and I are historians, right? I think in the Depression, Arkansas, and I don't know how exactly that came out, but...
Well, they're still around, so...
yeah. But we're running neck and neck with California, right, Larry?
Yeah, but we may be doing a little better than California.
Okay.
I think that's what I've heard. We're doing a lot better than California.
We haven't gone to IOUs yet, right?
Yeah.
Because then they do that with the employees of the state?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. All right, next is Finance Director Nakrin. Update on village bond rating.
Okay. Well, I actually have several related topics. First, wanted to note that Moody's reconfirmed our AAA bond rating and noted basically our fiscal discipline, and for that, certainly a lot of credit and appreciation goes to Mayor Byrne and the board and Manager Allison and the staff. We've really taken a fiscally conservative approach over the years, and one example of that you know, I mentioned to Moody's when we were talking to them about, you know, a lot of places have had retirement incentives, but the difference is ours is essentially will be paid for in a couple of months. You know, it's not one that pay for over the years. So that's just one example, but.
Yeah, I mean regarding the 10 early retirement.
Right. And we sold 2 bonds today. Kevin McKenna from Spear is here, and it was I think it was amazingly successful. The first one was our TIF bond, and then we also did a refunding. the TIF bond with 9 bids and a winning interest rate of 1.92%. And Kevin, you want to talk a little about that and a little about the refunding bond also?
Sure. Good evening. I'd remind you that the TIF bonds were replacing the notes of 8%. So 1.92 is quite a savings on what you were paying. The information's in the packet that we handed out.
Well, you could state, what do you think we're going to save now on the payment?
By the 6%?
Well, from the 8% to the...
Yeah, okay. Well, let's figure that out then. We figure on the $8 million in here, we show that you're going to pay about $1.7 million in interest, which means you're saving 3 times that, which is a little over $5 million. So you're saving about $5 million in interest on that. In the packet, it lists the 9 bidders. The best bidder is Stifel Nicholas out of St. Louis. And I mean, it really helped a great deal your AAA rating. I mean, we've had a lot of sales this week because of refundings, but not too many AAA ratings. The second page is the bidding history. We do it on the internet, so it's kind of like eBay, but it gets a little bit interesting at the last couple of minutes. So you can see that Stifel really wanted your paper. The third from the right-hand column, they bid 6 times. They beat out Raymond James, which bid 3 times. And the difference was 1.92 versus 1.95. And then in back of them was FTN Financial, which bid a couple times. You had other places that bid 2, 3, 4 times, except for Robert W. Baird, who just bid once and came in last. But interestingly enough, Baird won the second issue. They came in first on the second issue. So it was a very lively auction. The bidders do not get to see the other bids. They do get to see their placement. So if somebody knows they're second, they then start nickel and diming it to see if they can get into first. But they never get to see the other bids. So I thought that went very well. And the details are in the back here. Part of the packet also then is about 4 or 5 pages back as the second sale, the refunding $1.6 million, and these refunded the 2005 bonds. There were 3 bidders on this one, and again, on the first issue, Baird came in last. This one, they came in first. The rate was 2.05. It's about the same length as the first issue.
What page are you on?
This is about the 5th page back. It's got another letterhead from us.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And the difference really was you had the $8 million issue was more attractive than the $1.5 million issue. Bigger block sizes. It just made it more interesting to the bidders, which is why there were only 3 bidders on the second issue, and the rate was a little bit higher. But this replaced 3.9% money with 2.06% money, so we saved about $100,000, just a little over $100,000 on that issue. And the details are here, and then at the back is the Moody's report, as Larry just discussed, and really there's always one summary sentence in the Moody's report, and it's the last sentence of the summary rationale, which is the first page, last paragraph, and it says, the highest AAA rating incorporates the village's sizable tax base located near Chicago with a rebounding commercial sector, strong financial operations with ample liquidity, and low direct debt that is fully supported by non-property tax revenues. So I think it's a very good report card for the village, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions about the sales.
Now, what page was that? I mean, on this letter here?
That was the Moody's.
January 26th?
Yes, the last sentence of the last paragraph on there.
On this page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the summary rating rationale. It's the last sentence in that paragraph.
Okay.
And that's always the key paragraph, the key sentence that pulls everything together for their rating.
That is strong.
Yeah. It's just,
yeah.
well, you got a AA on that one, but
Yeah, we did.
yes.
That's why you didn't even have to go to New York. Of course,
Well,
we've had this for a while.
You got it, I think, last time around, yes.
Yeah, what was
But
that? 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
We got it in April of 2010 when they did the recalibration based on, but the last time we were rated, we were actually still AA1 on the last bond issue. But then they did that recalibration to bring municipalities in line with the rest of the market back in April of
Is
2010.
the members of the press going to put something in the paper about that?
I would hope so, considering the first time we went up there, we came away with, as Kevin just said, we came away with a AA rating, and we've maintained a great credit rating ever since.
Why don't we
then.
do a press release
We've
so
done a
that
great
maybe
job.
somebody will pick up on this?
Larry has done a great job of keeping us
Yeah.
up there.
Thank you.
Good for you, Larry. Thank you.
I did want to, I did want to mention that, you know, there are a number of reasons we obtained this savings. You know, when we did the TIF revenue bond in 2007, it was at 6.33%, practically 6.37, I think it was. And there are a number of reasons. One was, of course, this time we were GO, we were AAA. Also, but you know, previously we were backing the stuff with TIF, and previously it was somewhat speculative. And now we were finally at the point where we felt comfortable that we could put the GO behind it. But the other thing is, got to give some appreciation to the central banks. I think the 10-year Treasury was 150 basis points lower than it was a year ago, and so you know they really worked hard on our behalf, the central bankers around the world. So we,
Especially the Greek ones.
yeah.
Okay, well, that's good news. All right.
Mayor, can I say just one thing too? I know he's very modest, but Trustee Williams started it. Larry Nakrin, our finance director, keeps us on the straight and narrow and keeps
Yes, he
us
does.
focused on finance, everybody here, staff and all of us. And this is a real credit to him, all this work that he's done. So I really thank you, Larry.
Well,
Thank you, Larry. Thank you,
You
Larry.
can never retire.
As I say, I thank the mayor, the board, and you, Mike, and the staff for all the help. And of course, Kevin McKenna has done a great job for us over a lot of years. Bob Kenny really helped us on this, and Kevin helped us. Kevin Wolfberg helped us on the original start. And we got a lot of help from Pat Kirkner and Julie Kelly at Chapman & Cutler. So, I mean, we really had a tremendous group of people helping us on this. And,
Very good.
Super. And thank you, Kevin,
Thank you,
for all of
yeah.
your
All right.
advice over the years. Thank
Kevin,
you.
thank you. All right, anything else on this topic? This is a good one.
This was a good one. This was
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, next item is the omnibus vote agenda.
Oh, I got
He's
one
got
more.
a
Oh,
budget.
you got more? Oh, okay.
Got one more budget.
Larry, you gotta, you know,
Quick,
get it out there.
really quick topic. We're going to distribute the budget end of next week or sometime next week, let's say the later half of next week. Want to know if we should do that in traditional paper form or if you would like it electronically.
I'll take, can we have paper with that one? I mean,
Oh, look at my.
oh my God, you know.
Save it.
For the budget, I think we should actually
Yeah.
have paper with that one. It's a little bit easier to make our notes and
Yeah.
juggle things around. I'm sorry, but I really think we
No,
need
No, that's okay.
No,
I'm
budget
sure in
book on this one.
2013 we'll
Maybe we'll
get to
that next step.
full electronic.
my little secret is if you had wanted it electronically, I'd still have mine in paper, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't have a problem with it being electronic, but I think we need both for this one.
Okay,
Well, why don't we do this? Put it in electronic and paper, and then
That's
we
what I
can
said.
play with
Do
it
it
and
with that.
get used to it so that for next year we'll be in good shape.
You'll know exactly where
Yep,
we're at.
exactly.
all right, well, okay, anything else? Liz?
that's all I have.
Okay, all right, thanks. Okay, next is the omnibus vote agenda. Is Trustee Schultz?
I just motion to approve with questions on,
Why do you, is there a motion to approve A through Q.
Oh, wait.
You need a motion and a second.
No,
And
I
I
need to
make
talk
the
about him,
motion
I think.
You're gonna make the
approve.
second?
Yeah, I did have one.
You're gonna make the motion.
There for a moment.
I am making the motion, but I have
Right.
question on M.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. I did too.
Is there a second?
So
A
moved.
second.
Okay, so we don't wanna pull him, you just, okay, you wanna answer the question?
Yeah.
If I can find it, yeah.
Excuse me, H and M. First off with H,
Yeah, I got rid of
I
that.
guess I'd just like to know how this came out with regard to our budget and the bidding process and where we're at. So I guess I'm looking for direction from Dave.
So H being the road rehab project.
Right.
Yeah, and I know in terms of the process, that's very important. The road rehab project goes through our motor fuel tax process. It's funded by those funds, and it goes through a IDOT bidding process. So it's sealed bids. We had 6 different bidders, and the lowest responsible bidder was Peter Baker, slightly under $700,000. $850,000 was the budgeted amount, so they came in under estimate. The location of the project is Deer Path, the east side of Deer Path Drive. It extends from Greenvale to Malvern, so many streets within that area. And in terms of the number, we received fantastic asphalt binder course prices from Peter Baker. That is why they beat all the other bidders. $59.15 per ton compared to typically we see prices in the $75 to $80 a ton. So this project's about $190,000 of just the asphalt work. So it's a substantial part of the project, and they gave us really good numbers.
And Peter Baker is a force in Lake County. My question is, have we ever used them?
Years ago, Peter Baker, they are definitely a qualified bidder. They are one of the players within this area. In fact, 5 out of the 6 are the larger players within, and they all bid on the project. Peter Baker giving us the best numbers.
We used to use them a lot.
Yeah.
In the years past, we've used Peter Baker a lot.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then-
probably everybody that bids uses Peter Baker anyway, right?
Yeah.
Peter Baker or.
Pretty asphalt.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then my second question was concerning the Oaks and granting that extension. I guess I don't have a problem with it. Is there a limit to the number of extensions we can offer?
It's kind of what I was going to ask too.
I think it's really your call.
Yeah,
I mean,
the code, the zoning code doesn't establish, a maximum number of extensions the board can grant. It's whatever the board decides.
Okay.
But if I guess you're so inclined, you may want to indicate to the owners that this is it, and.
Well, I
Or
think
if that's
without them
your
coming before us
inclination.
again, we'll wait and see, but.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is good. I mean, I don't see anybody trying to develop large parcels in the next few weeks or even the next few months. So, I'm comfortable with, but still, at some point though, I guess we need to revisit the project.
Right. But right now, I don't have a problem.
What's the exact location on the Oaks for those watching at home?
It's the former Kelly's Day Camp site.
Right.
And as you know, there's been a proposal, and in fact, they met just today, some of the staff people, on that residential alternative.
Yeah,
So
because.
that's still being discussed.
Yeah, because, well, obviously, if anything goes forward there, but, it's something I wanted to bring up on that since, it was, questions have been made, is, our corridor study called for residential only, and basically, what, the south side of 45?
I believe so. That we never, as I recall, never had that site, the Kelly site, designated in any residential.
And do we have the actual When is this gonna come on the board again, or committee of the whole?
I'm not quite sure, Mike, when they're gonna be ready to come back.
I'm not, it's still, I think, a few weeks off. I mean, we had a meeting today,
Right.
but it had to do with building code requirements, fire department access, things like
Right.
that. There's still a number of issues we're working through right now.
Right.
So I still think we're a number of weeks away from.
And then the traffic counts, do we have that now from?
We have not received their traffic report. Mike Atkinson did meet with them. I had a chance to talk to Matt Nix afterwards.
Okay.
He is going, they've prepared a traffic report light. It doesn't have all the information. They're really looking at incrementally between the previous use and this use, how the traffic impact would occur.
Well, who's
They're going to
actually- Yeah, who's actually doing that traffic?
That traffic report is, I think they're hiring Gewalt Hamilton to do that.
Okay. Do we actually have the counts from the previous project with Hamilton Partners?
They are going to use the same traffic counts as that previous project in their comparison. They're not proposing to take, at this stage, new traffic numbers. That's the information they shared with me. So that's what they've produced to date.
Yeah, well.
They do want to meet with the board in terms of, the 2-on-2s to work through some of the building code issues that Mike Atkinson discussed
But
with
I
them
think,
today.
well, what can we get from IDOT in light of the fact that they're going through their studies now?
We just had the Route 45 Phase 1 meeting today, open house meeting, so they have newer traffic counts. We can work with them to determine what the traffic numbers are.
I would point that out, because that is a big issue, among other things, so.
I just
Very
have-
important issue.
Okay.
I have a quick comment on item N. Just want to bring everybody at home's attention to surplus items to be declared for sale at public auction or internet. You might want to browse that if you're interested in some very different items, shall we say. Gun racks, compressors, lights, strange things.
What's the condition of it?
Yeah, in terms of those items, we have, as Mike Ellison shared with me, we've been squirreling away a number of things over the years. How Al Funk has shared with me is some of the things for police vehicles he relates to. Have you ever seen Mayberry police cars? These are some of those things that were on there at the time. There's other things that we have that have holes in them. The cost of repairing exceeds the new purchases. So these are many of the things that we've been working on to clean up the cold storage area and provide room so we can access things better.
But it was just very interesting to read the list.
And Mayor, can I mention on Q, again, that is the approval of the intergovernmental agreement with Arlington Heights, Buffalo Grove, Lincolnshire, Long Grove, Palatine, Wheeling, and the Vernon Hills, of course, for the electric aggregation, and that will be before the voters on March 20th. So I just want to remind everybody of that. Thank you.
Okay, all right. There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Larport?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz? Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries. Larry Nackman, you want to?
Yeah, those compliments kind of threw me off my game, but under the finance.
I'll stop doing that, Larry.
That's the last time we compliment
Do
you.
you want to talk about, you were done with you for tonight.
Yeah, but
Oh.
we had two ordinances that we had to approve under my report. Chapman and Cutler likes those approved separately from the consent agenda. And so the main purpose of what I was doing tonight was to ask your approval for the two bond ordinances. One is ordinance 2012-10, other is ordinance 2012-11. And the reason I didn't put it on the consent agenda is so we could vote separately. And those were items to be voted on under the finance director's report. So
So you need each one separately, or
Yes.
a vote for both at one time?
Each one separately.
So you want us to pull these?
No,
No.
no, the-
No,
they're,
they're-
I need
they're
you to
separate. We
jump
have to
back
vote
on
on
the
them
agenda,
separate.
go back
They're under
up
the
to
finance director.
finance
Right.
director.
No.
So I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2012-10.
Second.
Motion and a second, roll call, please.
Trustee Schwartz? Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is approval of ordinance 2012-11.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, roll call, please.
Take your bid.
Trustee Schwartz? Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Well, now I got, but, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, do we
No, not
have,
doing. We got the park, the golf course thing.
We have we're now at unfinished.
yeah, okay.
We're not, what, on an approval for the Kemper? We're done.
We're done with the consent agenda.
Move
Yeah.
to approve the Kemper voucher list
Right.
dated February 7th.
There's a motion,
Second.
there's a second, roll call, please.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Motion carries. Trustee Schultz?
New business.
Yeah, sure.
Within the scope of new business, I'd like to acknowledge something near and dear to my heart, seeing as how my granddaughter is now a cheerleader. The Vernon Hills cheerleading squad at the high school came in 4th place. They won't be becoming before us, because they don't have any hardware, but still, that's quite an accomplishment for the mid-range school group. They came in 4th place in the state championships, and I'd just like to acknowledge that.
Okay. All right, any new trustee Cook?
Yeah, along that same line, have we been in contact with the high school about inviting the bowling team in? They
Yeah.
second place in the state.
I called, what I said, the bowling and, what?
The girls' basketball.
Yeah, girls, we're at the end of the season for the girls.
Yeah, well, the
Bowling took second.
bowling took second in state.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah.
I emailed Ron Long.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, well, under new business, trustee Markwart, go ahead.
Some more new business.
Yeah.
I call Michael just to verify with the VHAC area. I know we brought it up before, but looking at defibrillators that should be on the grounds for actually for the pinwheel or out by the football tower. I think we should take a look at that, only for the fact that, well, on vacation, a gentleman died in a pool, heart attack, no defibrillator. It's just getting to the point that it becomes very important. And if we can get these out here, then I would agree that two, is that there'd be testing or schooling for coaches, teachers, who's ever involved with this, to get as many people to do so.
Yeah, I don't know how, how it would work in an outdoor facility, I mean, as far as
Tony,
putting one out there and.
does that work?
Well, we started to discuss it, Dave and I, and you can get some defibrillators that are, more robust, let's say, and then we could have a box out there. Of course, accessibility means it's accessible to all, so you'd have to watch it as far as any vandalism or whatever. And as you said, you'd have to make sure it's charged. So we did talk just a few months ago, Dave reminded me today, to Bob Kenny about, we have the availability of them in squad cars. And obviously people that are highly trained to use them. And then of course there's the Lincolnshire Riverwoods Fire Protection District.
Well, what you would have, well, theoretically, I guess you could keep them, you know, when the leagues are in action at the buildings that exist out there.
Right, right.
know?
You could work with,
sports
especially during a
team.
tournament,
Yeah.
have one out there or two out there. And Dave and I talked about, we really need to talk to the Cougars, among other people out there, and see what would be the most expeditious way to, you know, improve the safety with them out there.
Yeah.
And maybe have coach responsibility, or so, we'll work with some people. And they're about $2,100 a piece.
$2,100 each, and one of the really important things, for instance, Lisa Fishback oversees to make sure once a month that they are checked, et cetera. So part and parcel with a purchase is who's responsible for them and who is checking once a month, because if we have them out there and they're not charged, they have to be plugged in, et cetera. We need to make sure that they're working. So just something to share.
You guys know how to speak to this one?
There's a lot of considerations that we have to take.
Well, why'd you come up with, you know? Well, it'd be easier to listen. You're not just talking to us, Tony.
You're right.
Talking to residents.
You're right, I am.
I just want to identify yourself for the record.
Tony Ugassi, Deputy Chief of Lincolnshire Riverwoods Fire Protection District.
Okay.
Some of the considerations are the weather itself. Obviously, yes, you can put them in a box, but they've got to be pulled off the fields when it starts getting cold, because when you get down to lower temperatures, those batteries die. And then you have the problem with replacing the batteries at times and things like that. Access is key, like Mike was saying. If you put them in boxes, do you lock the boxes? If you lock the boxes and put in break glass, then you have the issues of vandalism. Someone might break in. How long do they last out there? I think you brought up a good point, Mayor. Using them, putting them in the concession stand, maybe in the trailer for the youth Cougars, things like that. But I think there's probably ways that we could look into, you know, trying to assist in helping locate some of those things. Keeping them maintained. Training is going to be a big issue, because trying to control, you know, who gets the training, because you're going to have a lot of the public out there that will be untrained. You'll have coaches that we can try to get some CPR and some AED training for, that we've offered before to do, you know, with our department for the Cougar program. It really depends a lot on who's present and who's available to use the equipment at the time. So it's certainly a good idea. There's nothing wrong with addressing it, but I think you need to be careful researching it and figure out how you're going to put them out there and how they're going to be maintained and how they're going to be located, so they don't disappear. Because $2,300 is a lot of money for a piece of equipment.
And I think Tony makes a really good point. I don't know about all of you, but I've had the training several times, and every time I do it, I hope I never have to do this under stress. Let someone do it who really knows how to do it.
The nice thing about the defibrillators is they guide you through it. It's once you've had some of the training, at least on putting the pads on, the rest of the machine does the talking. So and it does the guidance for you, and it will not defibrillate somebody that has a rhythm, which is a nice thing. You won't do it accidentally to somebody. So
No, yeah, it's good.
We got one at the golf course, though.
Don't know.
Does anybody want at the golf course? I thought we had one up there.
I don't know.
no, I think the state law only mandates it in indoor facilities. I
Right.
think that's why it's been an issue. You know.
And again, the problem, remember, with some facilities is, how should I say, the dispersion of people. Like on a golf course, where do you have it located?
Would somebody follow up with them just to find out? I thought we did, but, you know, I don't.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, we'll check.
We should probably
We
bring-
may have done that several years ago when we did them in this building.
Yeah, but I mean, we're like, we're, you know, we're Obi or Gene trained.
Probably
Why don't we, you know, that might be, well, obviously, we have control over, well, we have control over that site and the VHAC site. We could,
The other thing about
politely tell the
funding for it, sometimes there are grants available sometimes for those AEDs, so that's something else that, you know, Mike and I can talk about,
okay,
see if
that's
there's something
fine.
available
But,
to
yeah,
apply for.
Yeah, because things are gonna heat up here in a hurry, you know, up at, you know, the athletic complex, and the golf season, you know, will be here probably in about 2 months.
One of the real favorable things of having fire department and police department presence, using those. I know with the training I went through is if average Joe citizen is using it and they're trying to go through the steps, if someone else is touching that person and there's a shock, they're going to get the shock too. They are very dominant at the scene. They tell you, stand back, so no one else is touching it. Those are really important steps to go through, so no one else gets hurt.
They're doing it in a hospital.
Yeah.
It only takes.
Well, what about,
Yeah.
well, no, and Tony,
One
I mean,
time in
all right,
a
along
year.
those lines, what about, trying to resuscitate somebody if it's wet out? You gotta get them to a dry location?
The runoff is not as great.
You have to.
Hopefully
yeah,
you're not in
depending
a
on the
puddle. No, you don't want to be in a
circumstances.
puddle with somebody doing that, obviously. But damp grass, I don't think it's probably as big an issue as you might think.
It's more important to get the.
Yeah,
tip
direct
started, yeah.
contact is a bigger issue
Okay.
than the other, so.
Yeah, okay. All right, fine, well, this is something we definitely gotta follow up on and, provide that at these athletic venues that we need to provide them. The one thing I wanted to bring up was, what are we doing about this crosswalk here out of the Lashin Center to the parking lot? If we,
Well, I mean,
can we put,
I think there's enough light there. We have the signs. We don't have LED lights on it, like as you see some flashing lights on the sign. And
Can we
Dave and
do
I
like
have
that?
talked about it periodically. I think it's, well, I think it's, there was one accident some years ago with a pedestrian there. I think the signage is certainly accurate. It's, a thermoplastic crosswalk exists there. And as you know, how you cross there, it's kind of inconvenient because it's a curve and it's just, I find myself sometimes cutting the corners, so to speak, when you cross the park across the
Sure.
street. So, but, we could, as they say, ramp it up a bit and have signs.
Well, do we do something with, just for a while with like we did at Lakeview Parkway and Greg's Parkway, Greg's Landing? Remember we had like those flashing lights surrounding the sign and the pole and everything?
Well, you mean something maybe similar to CDW?
I'm talking,
If-
well, yeah, maybe
that's
that.
it.
Maybe
Now,
that's.
that's a little more involved and
Yeah.
it gives you a warrant.
But
And
you know what I'm talking about, with the T intersection there, which was at Lakeview Parkway and Greg's, when we put the signs up there, they were like,
Well,
for
when
a
we
while,
start-
they were flashing at us.
That's
you know?
when we started the stop sign. But I don't know, what are you trying to address? Because I don't think there's a problem now. I think there's enough light that you can see pedestrians generally. And do people stop for people in the crosswalk? The answer is generally no. Because I cross.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe just that pedestrian sign that says, hey, if you're in the crosswalk, you better stop.
Well, there are pre-signs there, the yellow, the appropriate rectangular
Does
sign.
it actually say stop though? Doesn't say stop. Well, what if you put, some of them,
Yeah, that say stop.
well, we don't have, that's
Crosswalk.
not out here.
No. Yeah.
Why don't we do that there then,
Let me take a look at that intersection. I can come back.
Probably gets the most, I'm more concerned about it at night, people that are there for a meeting,
Right. And people go to worship services there on Sunday. And
Yeah.
different. Well, why don't we, Dave and the chief and I will talk about maybe there's some incremental thing we can do there.
Is that a yes, chief?
Yeah, we have a staff meeting tomorrow afternoon.
Okay,
We'll take care of it.
all right.
Are we-
Anything else to cover?
Well, just in that vein, are we planning on putting the one on the striped lines during the summer months, spring, summer, fall months? The one in the roadway on the divide?
Oh, you mean in the center lane?
Yeah, that's what they do in small communities. my little town
Oh,
up
you
in.
mean in that one?
Yeah.
In particular?
Right. It's, just like one of these pylons out here at the railroad crossing there. It's whatever, a 5-inch wide sign that's 2.5 feet tall. It's got the little stop sign and.
Yeah.
Well, we could look at that as one, we'll
Right.
look at a couple options.
Well, they got that over at the Village Green in Lincolnshire when you're on Old Half Day
Right.
Road. you
Yes,
know.
yes, that's where I saw it around here, yep. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Okay, anything else to come before the board under new business or communication? All right, is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting and go to committee of the whole?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second, roll call?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz? Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Will there be executive session?
No, sir.
Okay, the first item is approval of the January 24th, 2012 Committee of the Whole minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion is second. Any comments or corrections? If not, roll call.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz? Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is consideration of a recommendation from the Zoning Board of Appeals for a sign variation at Target 313 East Town Line Road. Is there anybody here from Target? Now's your time.
Just to clarify, Mr. Mayor, for the board, the zoning board considered a request for a variation at a meeting on January 26th. Target is proposing to replace the wall sign on the north facade of their facility with a new sign that will include the bullseye logo that's that we're used to seeing with Targets outside of Vernon Hills. The code would allow that logo to be as tall as the letters, which in this case is 4 feet 5 3/8 of an inch. Target is requesting that the logo be 8 feet tall. They're also proposing some work with replacing some existing signage that says pharmacy and grocery store. The total size of all three of these signs would comply with the sign code, which is 500 square feet. The zoning board, having considered this, found that the property cannot yield a reasonable use in return if the variation is not granted because Target's logo has taken on a large part of their corporate identity. Target is one of the few brands in the world whose name is what the logo represents. Further, they found that the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances because the setback of the Target is 400 feet from Town Line Road, and mature landscaping also visually screens the store. And finally, it was found that the variation, if granted, would not alter the essential character of the neighborhood because the new sign, including the updated pharmacy and grocery sign, would comply with the size limitations of the zoning code. There was no one at the hearing to speak in objection to the request. So having reviewed the matter, the zoning board, in a 5-to-1 vote, recommends approval of the variation, and the petitioner is here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any comments or questions from the board on this? If not,
Wait a
okay,
minute.
well, Trustee Cook? Did you?
Yeah, couple questions. The store seems to be doing fairly well to me. Is there a reason that you, after all these years of having the nice front that we've got now, that we have to come back and have the large bullseye?
Sure. Let me back up just a minute. My name is Forrest Russell, Regional Development Manager with Target Corporation, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I guess I can go back 21 years and help answer that. I was involved in the initial design, approval, and construction of the store back in '92 and the opening in '93, and we were dismayed at the time because Vernon Hills did not allow corporate logos at all on any exterior signage. So that's what we did. We put the word Target up on the store and open for business. It's been a tough couple years. I don't have to tell anybody that, starting back in 2008. Our new store development program is about a quarter of what it has been. We're being very selective. What we're doing is going back over all of our existing resources. We're upgrading stores, we're adding groceries to all of our general merchandise stores at the rate of about 300 stores per year. We're going back and sort of buffing up all of our existing properties. We're going through all of the super targets, we're revising the signage. We have changed our federally copyrighted logo for the super target. So our goal is to bring everything into a consistent brand from coast to coast. And of all the stores I've worked on, this is the only one that does not have a bullseye on the building. If I could get some technical help on getting our PowerPoint up here.
You want to make a donation to Project Turf?
I knew it. I saw that coming.
Is that your answer?
Oh,
He's thinking about it.
Do you have an answer?
Pardon?
Do you have an answer?
I don't think you
can contact our community relations group, and typically the funding that we do provide goes for nonprofit organizations, especially the focus for the last couple of years now has been early childhood education.
But high school's non-for-profit, right?
Pardon?
High school's non-for-profit.
That's true. Not exactly early childhood, but that's for somebody else to discuss.
Okay, go ahead. What's your name again?
Forrest Russell.
Russell. Okay.
What I'd like to do is just do a very quick show and tell. Now this is really going to be stressful, this first series of slides. I'm going to show some images from a certain retailer, and you have to figure out who the retailer is because their name does not appear.
Target.
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 I don't know. Target.
That one's Target.
Yeah,
Could be Target.
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 You are good.
Target.
Let me stop you. I don't have a problem with your logo. I have a problem with the size of your logo.
Okay.
You should make it like about the size
And if you'll
of the-
think back to '92, I think I told you that same statement back then. You're not gonna have your
Here's-
logo.
Just as an example, in 1993, building a general merchandise Target store, that is the signage that we would put up. Over the last 20 years, Target's branding, our merchandising, who we are, what the image that we project has totally changed. And the exterior signage on any new store, any new Target store today looks like that above. Now those are both in appropriate scale. So the emphasis is really on the bullseye, and the Target is simply there to back it up.
And if I were to show you a picture of Golden Arches, would you know what corporation that
I
was?
was just gonna say that.
Would you know what corporation that was?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. We don't have those here. Just thought I'd let you know that.
Well, they do, but they're little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We don't have Jeffrey the Giraffe hanging out of the tower either.
no,
That's
that's true.
And we don't have Chuck E. Cheese.
And Wendy's,
We don't have Chuck.
Wendy's little lady is not hanging from a big sign.
Or Kentucky Fried Chicken, there's no bucket out there.
So we are set back 400 feet from Route 60, Town Line Road. This is a little hard to see, but that illustrates what we have on the face of the store today. We have the Super Target, the word grocery, and the word pharmacy. Now we're looking to update the entire signage package at a closer scale. This is the Super Target, grocery, and pharmacy. In the script, this is the current registered trademark for Super Target. And that is the brand, the image that we're placing on all of the Super Targets. This is what we would propose. Greater minds than mine have determined that the balance between the size of the logo and the script, the size of the letters, is in proper balance. Those are the square footages of the signs. This is through the magic of Photoshop. This is what this would be looking at like on the front of the building. These are 3 examples here per the Vernon Hills Code. That would be the upper image. Our trademark brand is shown in the center. An alternative design, I anticipated that somebody might ask, well, what would something in between look like? And that's that example there. And here again on the storefront are the examples. So what we're asking for is simply to be consistent and be in alignment with the rest of our branding program throughout the country. It's a tough retail environment right now, and we're looking for every possible opportunity to display our brand and be competitive in the market.
Trustee Williams.
I don't have a problem, as I previously stated, with your logo. I don't think that the economy is connected with your logo. Unfortunately, the economy has gone in the proverbial you-know-what since 2008. And whether your sign exceeds our restrictions by 3.5 feet or it stays within that restriction, I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. Now, having said all of that, I will not vote for this if that height is upheld by the rest of the board. I will let you have your logo, but it's got to be within the sign, not
So that would
way
be
out.
what, this 4 feet 5 and
The
3?
top one, you're talking about the top one of the 3.
So that's 4 feet,
Yes.
right?
Well, the height of the letters are 4 feet 5 3/8 inches, so if the logo was brought down to that height, then a variation wouldn't be required, it would comply with it.
Would not be required, correct.
Okay, so since the bottom one on this screen,
How
what
big
size is that one?
6.5.
Okay,
Which is within how many feet of our restrictions?
pretty close to about, you know.
It's only half again as large as the letters.
It's
as
about a
opposed
foot
to
and a
the
half
8 foot,
bigger.
which is
Middle
twice.
one's the biggest, and
The middle one is what
This one's about
he's
6
asking
feet.
for.
Right.
This one's 6
Right.
feet,
Yeah.
right?
that's
Which
six-
is
this 6
within-
feet, 5, this is 8, and this is ours.
Right.
The
So this
top
is
one's
3 feet
within
smaller.
code, the bottom 2 both need a variance.
Right. The bottom one is 3 feet smaller than the
Correct.
center one, correct?
I'm sorry,
The
the
top
bottom
one is
one?
within code, the
No.
next 2 need
This is 8 feet, right?
variance.
Yeah, the bottom one would need a variation because it's still slightly taller than the lettering. Not as,
Not as
not as
big.
much.
How big is the variation for the bottom one?
Bottom, it's
Uh,
a foot and a half.
It's 2 feet.
2 feet.
12
This is,
inches.
wait, I thought it's 5 feet, 5
That's the
and
overall
3/8.
sign. That's the overall
No,
sign.
the height.
It would extend an
But
additional 12 inches above
No, the
Above
and
target is
below.
6.5
sign.
3/8.
Right, be 12 inches.
The
So 2 feet
ordinance
total.
is
No,
this.
I know that, but between this one, the 8 foot and the 6 foot, that's a foot and a half.
Right, but it's still within,
That's correct.
Versus-
I'm sorry. I
That's
thought-
about, that's about this, yeah.
I didn't, I
Between,
wasn't here that night.
The middle one, which is on the bottom, is 6.5 feet height, right?
That's correct. Little
Okay,
less.
so the other one's 8 feet, the biggest one.
That's correct.
That's a 1.5 foot difference.
That's correct.
Okay. And what's the difference between a pad on the back and a kick in your derriere?
Depends on
About a
which way
foot
you're
and a half.
standing.
About a foot and a half.
About a
yeah.
foot and a half.
Depends on how tall you are.
Depends on how.
Mike, the Walmart logo, what size is that relative to the lettering? Do you remember?
The Walmart sign had 4 feet letters and a 6-foot logo, so that was approximately 2 feet taller.
Because I didn't like that one either.
Kind of like the bottom one, right?
All right. Okay. Well, does anybody else want to weigh in on this? You know,
I'll make a motion to approve the alternative design, the one where the letters are 4 feet 5 3/8, and the target is 6 foot 5 3/8.
so go with the 6'5".
Yeah.
Is that the original?
No, that's the
this is
alternative design.
This is the original.
That puts it in direct line with one of their leading competitors, and we're giving neither one a competitive advantage over the other. Am I correct, Mr. Atkinson?
That's correct.
Who's the other competitor?
Walmart.
I believe Walmart.
Okay, all right.
And if I may, that's a
What- well-
motion directing staff to prepare an ordinance, okay.
Well, yeah.
That is
Does
correct.
anybody else want to comment on this? We got a motion? Is
The-
that a motion?
The,
This is 6.
Yes, sir.
Is there a second?
So, I mean, I could go with that. This
There's second to the motion to approve the bottom one, which is the 6
Yeah.
feet, 5 inches.
Which brings it in direct comparability with Walmart.
There's no second,
I'll second it. I'll second
okay?
I think you have another question.
There's a second and a question. Trustee Cook. Excuse me.
let me withdraw, I gotta think about it for a
it.
second.
And you know why I say that?
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
They're the same letters.
You want to think?
You know, look says, I mean, person in
Oh.
that is a
I agree.
but this is a little bit.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
we're on a hold here. Trustee
The
Cook.
commission
that.
voted 4-1 for the 8-foot, correct?
That's correct, and I believe it was 5-1, but they voted, they're recommending approval of the middle sign, the 8-foot
It was
tall logo.
4-1, and there was 2 absents, Newberg and Steyer.
4-1, I'm
4-1.
correct.
Yeah, don't we,
Yeah.
what do we need?
So they voted to approve the full 8-foot.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
I hate overturning commission. I like your reasoning, though.
All right, Trustee Hebda.
That's the reason.
Even though I understand your marketing and your bullseye, to be honest, as a consumer, that doesn't draw me to your store. It's what you sell as a product. And I think enough people have seen enough advertisements on TV and whatnot that I don't know that the bullseye on that building is all that important. It doesn't make any sense to me because I go there, the store is full, it's a good store, it's a clean store, it's done very well. I don't think it's that far from Route 60. So, you know, when you try to tell me that the bullseye is going to increase, I don't agree with that, I really don't. I mean, you guys even weren't going to make it a super Target till we pushed you to make it that, which I think is what has promoted that store. If I'm gonna vote on this, then those red balls that are in the front of the store, those objects that the kids used to sit on, they need to be maintained. They're not. Your cart area needs to be maintained as a consumer. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for, that you keep the store upgraded and looking nice.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay,
But
you might have.
I don't think that, you know, that makes a difference, to be honest. I really don't. I think
Well,
people look at the ads and
we
they
can-
see you on
we
TV
can
and, you know, I
Certainly
think, yeah.
disagree on
Yeah,
that,
so.
so.
Okay, so that's a no?
I'm not gonna approve it.
Yeah.
I can't.
Either one.
Either one, I can't.
None of them.
None of them. I'm
Okay.
missing none.
Trustee Schultz?
Quick question, and again, directed to Mr. Atkinson. The pylon sign out front, is Target on that pylon sign? Or is there a pylon?
There is no pylon.
No, that's the next guy down. Sorry. Thank you.
If you'd like to give us a pylon sign,
No.
we would take it.
There's,
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the 6.5-foot high Target logo. Roll call.
Including the bullet.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
Trustee Schultz.
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz. Trustee Williams.
No.
Trustee Hebda.
no,
Trustee Cook.
Aye.
And for the record, I'd vote aye. No, not for the record, for the tiebreaker.
For the
right? No, 3-2, 3-2. Okay, well, I'd vote aye. Just put me on for aye. Okay. Okay, so we approve 6.5.
That's gotta go to the.
Thank you for your consideration, and we'll be back with plans and permits.
Okay,
All right.
if I
And very
might-
seriously,
If I might clarify the issue, though, is we need, I believe, an extraordinary vote when trustee Schwartz is back,
Yes.
because the ZBA approved one scenario, and you're suggesting another scenario. I just want to clarify, and as you know, our council has a conflict. So Mike and I will investigate that, and we'll,
And I believe it's the sitting board. I don't think it's just the trustees, isn't it? The
Yeah,
sitting
right,
board?
that might-
Yeah.
Well, does the 4-2 we have count? No, because
we'll just clarify. Mike
you
just
have to have
said to me,
two-thirds.
it's less than the variance that was approved, so we can probably proceed if you
I
have
think
the
you have to
four
do better.
votes on the
I
ordinance.
think we
Village
might need
board-
legal opinion on that one. I
Yeah,
would
we'll
really like
check,
to
we'll
have
check
that.
with Bob, but the
Yeah.
village board is directing me to prepare an ordinance that's less than what the zoning board recommended for approval. So I think we don't need the supermajority, but we'll verify
Maybe,
that with
maybe
Bob.
not, but I'd really
Yeah, we'll
like to have
clarify.
attorney
Yeah,
on
well,
that
we
one.
got time, we got.
Because it
when's our
simply
next meeting?
states
2
that if
weeks?
we
2 weeks, yeah.
overturn what they voted, and we're definitely overturning their vote.
Yeah.
Either
We'll
way.
make sure of that.
And if that is the case, if you can have another ZBA meeting to have them,
Well, why don't we clarify the legal route?
Right,
That
if-
would be
if necess-
easier
right.
to.
agreed.
Well,
Yeah.
okay,
Agreed.
you know, just, I don't think anybody truly needs this clarification, but we'll do it for this gentleman. I mean, the ZBA is advisory.
Right.
Yeah, but there are certain.
But there,
You
with
can
the-
check that, that's
Right.
fine, you know.
With the ZBA, if you don't approve exactly what, there is a supermajority required in some instances.
Yeah,
So we
okay,
just
that's
want to make
fine.
sure.
Well, if we gotta have a
Couple of-
supermajority, we'll have to see if there is one. That would be what, five out of,
No.
Well, in some cases
out of
it's
6.
2/3, and in some cases it's 3/4.
Yeah.
That's what I want to check.
Ours
But
is
we'll
typically 4
check
to
that
6.
out and get back.
so
let
what
you know
if
for the
it's,
24th.
okay, so potentially it could be,
You need
four-
5.
4-3,
Five
it
of
could
seven.
be.
No, it should be,
You
I think
definitely
4-2.
need 4 affirmative
For
votes.
sure you need four,
4 to
but you
2,
might
4 to
need
2.
five.
To approve.
I'm sure it's just
And you
4 to
may
2.
need 5 affirmative votes.
'Cause I remember-
No, but Jean can vote on this when she comes back,
Yes.
at board level, you know,
Yes.
so. Okay, fine.
But we'll
All
clarify.
right, well, then we'll, you'll have to come back.
But before you leave, to dovetail on what she said, yeah, the main reason I go to Target is because I get that 5% on my red card.
Good, and.
It's not the logo.
And I hope you're directing the 1% to the school of your
Yeah.
choice.
Yes, absolutely,
yeah.
yes.
Right.
Of which our
So,
district has received, I believe.
If I can
I direct,
just walk away with a little clarity here, we had a vote of,
well, this is a committee of the whole.
right, was it 4-2?
Yeah, I
4 to
voted.
2.
Yeah.
But
Okay, but I understand the issue with the zoning board. So you'll let me know if
Yeah.
if I
We'll-
need
we'll
to
inform you, right.
need to
Yeah,
come back
absolutely.
and.
they'll let you know.
I
Are
don't
you-
see, I don't
you-
know
We'll
if
let
he
you
wants to come back.
No,
you staying
he
in
will
town
if
right
they
now?
have to do. a
I'm
ZBA,
staying
that's
down
what
near
he says.
O'Hare.
Well, next time stay in Vernon Hills.
Well, yeah.
Sure, and then drive in the traffic in the morning.
Well, you know, you gotta suffer with.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I mean, this isn't Minneapolis, that's, like Sleepy Hollow compared to Chicago. In a lot of ways.
Careful, I worked on the project in Sleepy Hollow.
Did you really? Good for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, there is a Sleepy Hollow.
Yes, there is.
In Illinois, right?
Yes.
What county was that?
West Dundee?
Well, what county?
DuPage? Kane?
No.
Kane, I think.
McHenry?
Oh.
Kane.
Kane?
Kane.
All right. Okay, Russell, Mr. Russell, we'll probably see you again. Okay, take care. All right, now we're supposed to do the tutorial here. So are we gonna adjourn the board meeting and just sit here and tutorial?
Well, I guess you can wish everybody, it's an open meeting. You can wish everybody good night. Maybe, I don't know if the public is really interested in having a kind of an educational.
No, I think we need to keep it.
Yeah,
'cause
it
we're
has to
gonna
be an open
discussing-
meeting.
Yeah, we need to keep the meeting open.
It's just a function of whether you want to continue showing this on cable.
Sure.